In this video, I'm going to tell you about what happens when pretty much all of your kill teams are illegal. I want to start off this video by thanking you, the viewers. Earlier this week, the channel hit 200,000 subscribers here on YouTube. It's a great milestone. I thank every single one of you. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the videos, comment, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I hope that what I'm doing is helpful or entertaining or at least diverting in some fashion. And I plan to continue to do it, and I hope that you'll come along for the ride. So again, thank you specifically, you watching, for the channel. About a year ago or so, I made a video about what to do when your army gets nerfed. Ciao. And it was specific to, I've had this army for a while, a bigger army style, kind of game. Let's say you were a Tomb Kings player, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, now, technically you can still play, but it's been, sort of put to pasture or whatever. And there's other times where it's a well-known army that a lot of people play, and then a new edition comes out, and then something changes in the book or the rules or something that has a very negative effect on that particular army, what you should do about it, that kind of stuff. Now, I was talking about armies there, not kill teams. Kill teams are like armies, they're just generally smaller. And what that video didn't cover was what to do when the majority of your kill teams has been not just nerfed, but kind of completely taken apart. So as of filming of this video, I have 8 fully painted kill teams that I've been working on over the last 3 years, I guess. Let's see, I've got my notes here. Imperial Guard, Death Guard, Chaos Space Marines, AdMech, Necrons, Tyranids, Death Watch, and Space Marines. Now, the least said about the Space Marines in the compendium here, the better. And, like I said, I've kind of talked about that already. But of those 8 kill teams, as far as I can tell, 2 are still usable legally. Now, what I mean by usable in this situation means that you have these requirements on how you build a kill team. You have to build generally 2 fire teams. Every once in a while, it's a 1 fire team situation, but generally you have to build 2, fire teams. So you can't usually take 3 different types of models. My Necrons had Immortals, Warriors, had a single death mark, and even a couple of flayed ones. And I can't do that anymore because you only take 2 different types. So there's that. And I don't have enough Warriors done, nor Immortals done to make enough to fill out the 2 kill teams. So that's them in a nutshell. Chaos Space Marines, I don't have enough cultists. You need to have, I think, like 8 cultists. Death Guard, I have enough models, but my leader for the Death Guard, he's illegal now. He breaks the rules because the model, the way that it was molded in the 8th edition starter box, Dark Imperium, I think is what it was called. Anyway, he had a plasma gun on his back. And in the previous version of the kill team rules, he could carry the plasma gun plus also like a hand weapon, something else he had going on there. And it was totally fine. But now, plasma gun is not a potential weapon for the Death Guard Plague Champion to take. So, and I can't just cut it off very easily. That's kind of really what this video is about, is what do you do when you're put into these situations? With this particular Plague Champion, nothing, because I can't get it. It's molded to his back. He's like got it slung on his back, and I guess he can pull it out and fire his plasma gun. And I always liked using him. He was a cool model as well. Can't do anything about that. I guess I could cover it with green stuff and then repaint him. I don't know. So that's an issue. And then my Imperial Guard, also not legal, but that's because I don't have enough guard. You need to have 7 guard, and I painted fewer guard, and I had more scions. I can make the scion fire team requirement, even legally. I've got a flamer, so that's a gunner, and I've got a melta, also a gunner, and you can have 2 gunners in that, and then I got to have 2 regular troopers, and then I can have the Tempestor as the leader. Now, he's got a power fist and a bolt pistol. And that's fine, but he should really have a bolt, or he should really have a plasma pistol. Here's the thing. The reason I built him with the bolt pistol originally was because I needed the points. Back in the old version, I couldn't give him a plasma pistol, so I was like, all right, I'll give him a bolt pistol. And that's how we got here, because there were points and you had to keep track of that stuff, and it was important. Now, bolt pistol and plasma pistol are the same as far as the new version of the game is concerned. I also noticed that in Chaos, as I was looking at my Chaos aspiring champion, he has 3 choices for that aspiring champion. He can take a chainsword, he could take a power fist, or he can take a power weapon. And they're all equal as far as that's concerned. And with the way the new rules are, I just assumed that the chainsword would maybe get more attacks and the power fist would get fewer attacks but do more damage, and maybe the power weapon would be more accurate, and they would balance it that way. But no, the chainsword is just demonstrably worse, but technically equal as far as the rules are concerned. So in every situation here, if I've got the ability to take a plasma pistol over anything else, I'm going to take a plasma pistol, especially since it doesn't always blow your hand off anymore. So that's also a big benefit. So in those situations, looking through all of these, you have to kind of figure out, well, okay, this is my old kill team. What can I do to fix it? What can I do to make it so that I can actually still use, hopefully, at least the models I already have, as opposed to maybe having to add to them. Maybe I've got to rip some things off, or I've got some tweak some things, but what do you do? So one of my basically legal armies that actually came through all of this is my Adeptus Mechanicus, which I painted on Twitch back in the earlier part of the pandemic. I've got a bunch of vanguards, and I've got a bunch of infiltrators, and now that's still legal. I can do that. The only deal is that one of my, the guy with the big long sniper rifle, the Transaronic Arquebus, or whatever it's called, that guy originally in my original list was a ranger and not a vanguard, which means he's got a hood pulled up as opposed to the colander for a head. And so in this situation, I've got a couple of choices. Again, what do you do? Well, I could just say, look, he's a vanguard. He's cold and he's got his hood up, you know what I mean? Or maybe he's kind of emo and he's just like, doesn't want to talk to anybody right now, or whatever the deal is. And so he's got the hood up, and that's fine. And you can do that. Obviously, it's your game. There's the whole concept between WYSIWYG, which is what you see is what you get, versus just proxy, use this model, say, that guy's a such and such, and then it's fine. And you can do that. I personally am a big fan, especially in skirmish games where you have so fewer models in comparison to big army games. I'm a big fan of WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So what I'm going to have to do if I want to make this guy really legal is I'm going to have to pull his head off. So it's going to be a situation of holding him firmly yet gingerly, and then probably taking a pliers and attaching it to his head and just rocking back and forth. One of the benefits to using CA glue, cyanoacrylate glue, aka super glue, as opposed to plastic cement, is that you can do that. You can slowly work it to the point where that joint will pop and you can pull that out. With plastic cement, that's a weld at that point. That is basically you're melting both sides of the plastic and kind of welding them together. So it's much more difficult to get your models to pop apart if you do need to change down the road, like I'm looking at doing here. I still haven't decided whether I'm just going to say, that he's cold or whatever, but I'll figure it out eventually. My Death Watch, there's only 5 models in there to begin with. They can still only be 5 models, and you can't have a frag cannon and a, let's say, Inferno heavy bolter in the same kill team, which was the point of having Death Watch to begin with. In my opinion, I enjoyed quite a bit. Having the ability to take those 2 big heavy weapons, you can't anymore. You can't do that. You got to pick one or the other. So now the question becomes, do I try to search around and try to find, because trying to just rip off the entire weapon and then glue something else on there seems pretty difficult at this point. So then it becomes, well, what else can I do? Can I just completely find, on eBay, a new model or the parts for the new model or whatever, get the parts in some fashion, build it, paint it, and try to get it to match? That's the other big issue that at least I'm having now with what I'm looking at here in my kill teams. if I'm going to have to add new models, which in some situations I am, if I want to run Necrons, I'm going to have to add both Immortals and Warriors to what I had before, because I had Necron soup before, which is actually a terrible soup, really. But I had Immortals, a single death mark, a couple of flayed ones, and then filled out with Warriors. Now I can only go with 2 of those. So if I'm going to be adding to it, will my paint jobs match, and will that bother me? Is there a way I can get around that? Is there a way I can paint them to be like, well, these are different ones, or something like that, or just maybe you paint them up? I'm thinking about this for the Warriors, at least for the Necrons. I paint up enough Warriors to build a full fire team, and then they may not match perfectly, and then I kind of grunge all of them up the same, and then maybe that will sort of blend that group together a little better so it looks a little bit better. It's hard to say. It's tough. I think I've still got Necron models. I mean, the other option, I guess I just thought of this. In my personal situation, I could just use the Necrons that I painted from Indominus and just throw them in there, and then boom, I've got 5 or whatever Warriors, and I'm all set, because I think I painted at least 10 of those guys. So that's maybe the better situation. But if you don't have already extra Necron Warriors laying around, which most people don't, but you've done some, but not enough, well, so then you have to kind of think about it. Do I go back and repaint altogether? Do I just not really care if they don't really match very much? There's nothing wrong with looking at it that way, certainly. But if you're a hobby nerd like me, that's gonna just sort of just noodle at you, and it's gonna bug you, and you don't want to. I don't personally want to go down that road. Turns out my Tyranids are also a legal list. I had 3 Warriors, and luckily I had not stacked them in any way, like having towards more shooty versus more. I had kind of done a little bit of each, kind of a smattering. And that's what they want you to do in the new kill team. That's the plan, is they want to spread you out, obviously. So my Warriors are all cool. My Gene Stealers, I think I have enough Gene Stealers. You need 5, I believe. And I think I have enough, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not 100% sure where I put them. I painted them on Twitch, and now I think that they're in a case in my basement. They're not here in the studio. I looked when I got here this evening. So if you're seeing pictures of my Tyranids here, then I found them. But if not, they're still in the basement somewhere. They're not like lost or stolen. They're just, But for all the rest of my armies, I've got to make some decisions. One of the biggest decisions right off the bat is, do I even bother if I'm going to go down that road? I don't know. Right now, I have veteran guardsmen that came in the Arctarius box. I've got a kill team of 10 of them. I can play with them. I can technically play with my Tyranids. If I get a little bit fancy, I can play with my Adeptus Mechanicus. But I don't know if I want to go down this road again. I'm already having a good time with Warcry, and I'm a big fan of kill teams. So for me to say, I don't know if I want to go down this road again, that's kind of a thing. That's a big mood, right? And I don't. But just going through this book, as I've been looking then and looking at my models and looking at my lists on Battlescribe and then looking at this book and going, nope, no, that guy's not even, I can't even use that guy anymore. That kind of stuff has been frankly kind of disheartening. And so the decision has to come down to, how quick and easy is it to make some tweaks to get a usable army again out of the previous 8 armies, kill teams that I've had already ready to go. Like, do I want to start from scratch on a couple? Like, do I just really feel like making another Death Guard? Maybe a different color scheme, doing another Death Guard. It's only 5 models anyway if you decide not to go with Poxwalkers, which I'm never going to go with Poxwalkers. I don't like them. Faces. But so, yeah, this is the decision that you need to make. If you decide, yeah, I can take this and modify it, understand, if you use plastic cement, it's going to be real hard to get those arms popped off or those weapons snapped off. If you used CA glue, super glue, whatever, if you just kind of grab the part you don't want anymore, grab your pinchers on there, some sort of pliers or something, hold the rest of the model, maybe even wrap it in cloth or something so you're not reefing on it too hard. And it depends on the model. Some models have lots of little weird antennas and stuff like that, and that's going to be troublesome. But if you just work the part back and forth, eventually it will come loose and come off. There's also this stuff called debonder that you can use to unglue it. It works okay. I don't know what it's going to do to your paint job if they're already painted. If your models aren't painted yet, well, then you're way ahead. You can easily kind of pull things apart and do that kind of stuff. If you really, really want to go down this road, I've always heard that if you put your models, especially if they've been done with CA glue, if you put them in the freezer, let them sit for a couple of days, they should pop apart really easy. But then you're going to probably have them all pop apart, all the parts, and then you'll have to glue them back together again, which may be more trouble than it's worth. But understand, if you want to take your models that you've been having a good time with in Kill Team and bring them into the new version, A, good luck. I'm 2 for 8 as far as Kill Team armies are concerned. And B, get used to either proxying and going, no, that's a plasma pistol. That's not that's a plasma pistol. That's fine. Or that's a power weapon. Or using the less preferable versions of those things. Or get ready to start pulling some parts apart.